Hey guys, what up? It is Callus here with more ladder content. This is my own game. I don't do these too often, but believe it or not, I've been laddering a bunch recently. I've been laddering a lot. I've got two different accounts in the past couple of weeks over 1500, and I retired them because that's what I do. And now I'm on to a new account. Honestly, I wasn't planning on showing any replays from this until I got the account a little bit higher. I just started out on this account today, so it's only in the 1100s or something awful. And I don't really like to reveal my alts until after the fact where I don't really care. But this game was really good, and I'm very happy with how I played in it, so I thought this would be worth bringing to you. Now, I cannot 100% definitively confirm the identity of my opponent, but I very much believe that it is linear. And this guy, Asada Test here, is also Lifa Test, who is one of the top ladder guys. And on that account and on this account, this dude seems to have a hard-on for YOLO Skarm, which is the HP ground Skarm, and also Sing Blissey. Does anyone know any competitive ADV players who really like those two Pokemon? Because I can think of one. So yeah, I think it's linear, but I'm not positive. If you guys know, maybe let me know in the comments. Either way, you can tell in the game that obviously this person is good, and I thought it was a good game, so let's check it out. So, I'm on the bottom. I've got this extremely clever and mature nickname here that I came up with, and my opponent is Asada Test. So we'll do a quick little, oops, I didn't pause in time, but basically I stayed in because I am choice banded here. So it is on me. I'm the one who can be proactive here. I'm the one who can make the play. If I brick break him and he stays in, he probably just dies. I'm adamant, and I'm going to make him react to me instead of the other way around. Me switching out is not the play, especially if he's going to stay in and get cute and go for a rock slide, or if he thinks I'm going to switch and he goes focus punch, yada yada. The play for me is to stay in and do damage where I can. So I do. And I go straight for the brick break. If I'm gonna stay in, you don't bluff there. You don't stay in just to go for HP flying. You don't stay in to try to get cute and rock slide, thinking that a fighting resist is gonna come in. I mean, that's fantastic. The one time out of 10 that you rock slide and you do hit a Zapdos and you feel like a genius, but all the other times when that doesn't work, and either he stays in and just donks you, or he just does something more standard like this. If I were to rock slide into the Swampert, I'm just losing a bunch of damage, which really adds up over the course of the battle. Every little percent counts. Bottom line, getting cute there is not the right play. If you're going to stay in, you go for it. Choice Band Mence gets whittled with his HP with the sand that we already know is going to be there. I didn't bring sand, but my opponent did, so he's going to have limited opportunities, and it's not a poke to get cute with on turn 1. So, the damage that I do here, 44%, is going to obviously reveal to him that I'm Choice Banded, so he knows that going forward. I switch in my Coon, and he knows that I'm going to switch something, whether it's a Celebi, a Milo, whatever, something like that, into the Swampert, which is why he immediately goes to Skarm. That's him just being ahead of it. That's a standard double switch, and it's a good one, because I have to react to the Swampert. I'm obviously not going to keep the Salamence in, so things that are appropriate Swampert switches, like I said, a Coon, a Milo, a Celebi, something along those lines. These are all things that Skarmory switches in very safely against, which is why he makes that play. So this is going to enable him in almost every single situation to get a free layer of spikes. So he does. I'm a Magdoll team here, but I'm going to play well, and I'm going to go to the doll first, not just immediately walk into him double switching to Dugtrio, him going for the cute HP ground, something like that. I'm going to play safe and go to the spinner first. I don't need to immediately show him Magneton, and I don't. So here's Claydol, and he does just go straight for spikes. Very standard so far. I'm going to just stay in and rapid spin, see what he does. He goes Drill Peck, gets me for 31%. That's fine. So at this point, I feel pretty confident that I can just go to Magneton here. He could go to Dugtrio at this point, and that would be quite the play if he's able to make that. But I think the most likely scenario here is either he just Drill Pecks again, or he spikes. And either way, I'm fine with that if I go to Mag. So I did my due diligence. I did my Dugtrio check. I don't think he has it. So now I'm going to go to the mag now that he's had multiple opportunities to respond to a mag and has not done so. He does just go for Drill Peck. Perfect. And alright, I'm just going to fucking fry the Skarm, right? There is the HP ground. He's got that stupid fucking YOLO Skarm that Lanier, who I think this is, loves so much. I think that set is junk. I think it's gimmicky. I think it's bad 9 times out of 10. I think it's like really awful in absolutely every matchup other than Magneton matchups. But obviously it has its purpose against Mag. That's what it's designed to do. And right now it just did exactly what it is designed to do. So it's a really bad start for me. Right on turn 6, he gets a free knockout and I don't get anything to show for it. So clearly my opponent is in the lead. So it falls on me. How do I react to this? Going to the Mence is not the play here. He's at 100%. I'm not going to be able to do enough meaningful damage to it. The second he sees what choice band move I lock onto, he can switch. He also might have Protect. And the whole time that I'm struggling to damage things enough, he's going to be sitting there and chipping away at me because I don't have lefties, so the sand is going to get me. The Coon, likewise, does not deal with the Skarm. Surf would be the best thing I could do, and it's going to do pathetic damage. It does a little more than it normally would, because it is the YOLO Skarm, so he's heavily invested both in attack and in speed. So he's not going to have a lot of special defense, so Surf actually does get him for a decent chunk, but he would still be able to set up a layer or 2 of spikes, which is really obnoxious, or maybe we trade 1 layer of spikes for 1 Surf, and then he gets out of the way, which I'm not convinced is great for me. My Claydol cannot hurt the Skarm. I mean, it can hold off, it could just spin, but like he could just Drill Peck me, and the best thing I could do back is Psychic, so that's not going to do it either. So it comes down to one of my last 2 pokes as the only real choices here, one of which is a Snorlax that does not even have Curse. It is Rest 3 attacks, and none of the attacks are Fire Blast, so that's not going to hurt Skarmory. So, more or less, I only have one choice. This team is a little bit Skarmory weak, and that is why we have Magneton. Most of the time, Magneton would deal with this, and it wouldn't be a problem. But in these obscure situations where my opponent does, in fact, have the stupid YOLO Skarm, it's tough, and I have to find other ways to deal with Skarm. So that way is going to be Jirachi. It is a Calm Mind set with Thunderbolt, so I am able to punish the Skarm should he get too cute. I go for the Calm Mind here thinking there would be a switch. Meta's not exactly what I want to see, but I'm going to stay in for 1 turn to scout the set. There's Thunderbolt, and he's going to go for EQ. I'm very defensively bulky, so I'm going to know instantly that he's a Choice Bander. Would have been cool had I randomly gotten, Paralysis or whatever it could have been there, maybe a crit. But I didn't, and he got me with the EQ, so I know that he's a Choice Bander. He's going to be locked on the Earthquake, so it's going to be on me how to react to this. If I think he's going to stay in, which is a decent chance of him doing, obviously I want to get out of the way. If I think that it's too obvious that I get out of the way, since I've already shown 2 ground immunities in the Salamence and the Claydol, then maybe I get cute and I stay in and I wish. But, I really did think here about just staying in and Thunderbolting. I really did think about it for at least 30 or 45 seconds. It was really, really tempting, but ultimately I decided I'm already pretty far behind. If I were to lose the Jirachi for free here, which would be the case pending a crit or a para, full para, then that's really, really bad, and I'm miles and miles behind. I just can't risk it with how poorly this game has already started. So even though I really, truly did consider staying in Thunderbolting again, I opted to switch here to one of my ground immunities, Salamence. Good thing I did, because he does go to Earthquake. So here, this is where you get ahead of your opponent, and you kind of anticipate, okay, what are they going to do in this situation? This is where just basic prediction comes into play. So if you are in my opponent's shoes, who would stay in here and just get hit with Earthquake? Nobody, right? You're not just going to stay in there and die. And even furthermore, he can't do anything back to me. He's locked on Earthquake himself. So even if I lock on something other than Earthquake, let's say I go Brick Break here, that's still just going to be free damage on the Metagross, and he can't do anything back. So there's just no way that he's going to stay in here. So as such, I feel comfortable going back to my Jirachi, not only to get lefties, but also to potentially get a Wish off. Now, obviously, if I'm wrong and he somehow stays in, I just insta-lose my Jirachi, and it's terrible. But you have to use just kind of getting your opponent's head, a little psychology here. What should my opponent do? What would my opponent be thinking in this position? And it's just, why would he stay in? If he stays in and I click Earthquake, he just instantly dies. So you have to kind of play off the other guy's fear. So I go right back to Rachi, which, like I said, if he stays in, instantly kills me. But I make the right read. Rachi comes in, gets lefties, and I can now pressure him with either a Thunderbolt or a Wish. I make the wrong call on this turn. Thunderbolt, as it turns out, would have been better, but the Wish is not a bad thing. But once again, I have a decision to make here. So nothing that he's going to do other than Earthquake, and of course Explosion, is going to kill me. So Meteor Mash wouldn't do it, Rock Slide wouldn't do it. If he's got random, Sludge Bomb or something like that, obviously that doesn't kill me, or HP Bug wouldn't kill me. So it's Earthquake or Boom that would kill Rachi here. And then I have to kind of think risk versus reward. So I believe ultimately what I end up doing here is Claydol, because I'm just kind of looking at what I have and how valuable it is in the matchup. If he goes for Boom here, like I thought about the Coon because it's generically safe, but even if he does just go for Earthquake, the Coon would actually take a pretty decent amount from a Choice Band Earthquake, and I don't really know where that gets me, because like if I go to Coon, it's just going to prompt him to a Blissey that I think he probably has. It's probably just a Skarm Bliss team with like Last Poke, Gengar, or Dougie, something along those lines. It looks like a pretty standard Big 5-ish team. So I don't really know where that gets me. So basically, I need to try to be a little more spot on here as opposed to making a generalized safe play, because I don't really have a generalized safe play. I'm already behind, and if I go to Coon and it gets blown up on, that's bad. If I go to Coon and he does basically anything but Meteor Mash, it's actually not that great. So I need to kind of be spot on. I realize how valuable my Jirachi is in this matchup. I can already tell based on the things that he's shown. So I'm just not going to risk the Rachi here. So the question becomes, what am I willing to lose if he just blows up here? Which is why I ultimately go to the Claydol. If he wants to Boom, that's probably the thing I want him to Boom on. He does, in fact, just go for Earthquake again. Claydol gets the Wish, which is cool. He didn't overly need it, but I'll take it. And I'm going to make the exact same switch here. There's no way that he's going to stay in. Claydol is something that could threaten him with Earthquake, and he's locked on Earthquake, so he can't touch me. So once again, even though it puts Jirachi in harm's way, I'm going to switch in here. And this puts me in the exact same position as before. I can Thunderbolt, I can Wish, or I guess I could Calm Mind here. Calm Mind is interesting. It would make the Thunderbolt a roll on the Metagross. I think he would just barely live, unfortunately. He'd live at 2-3% or whatever, and then donk me back, so I don't know that Calm Mind is the play. And again, if we think he's got a Blissey in the back, maybe Calm Mind's not the play either. Now, this bulky Calm Mind Wish Rachi actually probably beats Blissey, depending on his set. But overall, I don't think we're at that point. I still think I'm at the point where if Rachi's staying in, I probably want to either just Wish or attack. So I go straight for the Thunderbolt this time, see if I can hit something, and it does in fact hit the Skarm. He comes back with HP Ground. I'm not sure. Maybe he's confused about what kind of set I am. I'm surprised he doesn't give me credit for being a bit bulkier. I mean, he should be able to know from the Metagross Choice Band damage how well I took that Earthquake that I'm bulky, so I'm not clear that I understand what the point was of Hidden Power Ground there. I take it really well. It's only 24%. It's just not a big deal. I don't know what that accomplishes. I think if he's staying in, a better play is to just Spike, I think. But he goes for HP Ground. The other thing is that it doesn't put the Rachi in Dugtrio range. It doesn't make a difference. If I were to, let's say he didn't do that. Let's say he spiked up, and then I just Thunderbolt again and kill the Skarm. I would still just die to the follow-up Dugtrio anyway, without that additional 24 damage that the Hidden Power Ground just did. So I'm not clear as to why that was the play made, but that is what he opted to do. Alright, so same position here. Here comes Metagross now. I Wish at this point, and it's the same exact position as before. So once again, I don't want to lose my Rachi. I think it's really valuable. So it's the exact same thing. What do I want to lose if he booms? And between Claydol and Salamence, I think it's an easy decision, especially now that his Skarm is weaker and at 35%, I'm not nearly as worried as I was before about killing it. And also because we're keeping in mind that it's the YOLO Skarm, so he's got max attack, max speed, or very, very close to it. He's not going to be nearly as bulky as other Skarms would be. So my Salamence and my Coon can actually hurt it quite a bit more than a typical Salamence or a Coon could, because, like I said, the Skarm just is not investing in defensive stats. So I think the poke to lose here, if I have to lose a poke, is Claydol. If he happens to Earthquake again, that's fine. If he mashes, my Claydol can take it. I've got a Wish pending, and then I could just go to Coon. And if he booms, Claydol's the guy that I want to lose. So all those things considered, I once again make the switch to Claydol. And at this point, he actually booms, so that works out fine. But I played around that a number of times. So now it's a matter of what to go to here. He's going to go to Swampert. I went to the Rachi again, hoping that he would go to the Skarm, but I mean, regardless of what he does, the main reason is that I wanted the Rachi to eat its own Wish, because again, I think it's very valuable in the matchup, and by far, it's the thing that needs the Wish the most. Salamence is at 88%, Coon's at 100, haven't even revealed the last Pokelax yet, so clearly, Rachi is the Pokemon that wants to be the recipient of the Wish, and after that in lefties, it's up to 100%. So I don't have a set that does anything meaningful to the Swampert that's going to prompt me to switch. Coon is a very safe and sturdy Swampert switch. He goes Hydro Pump. It'll cost him 2 PP into the Pressure Mon, so that's good stuff. I'm going to Calm Mind here. Really, the worst thing he could do to me is just roar me out, and I'm not that worried about it. But interesting, he goes Hidden Power here. So it's a Swampert that is Hidden Power, presumably Grass, right? I mean, why would you have HP Electric on Swampert unless he's, like, so unbelievably Gyarados weak that he needs that? But more than likely, that's an HP Grass that's actually designed to have his Swampert beat another Swampert, which is interesting. Not something I would necessarily run. I'm a little closed-minded on that, but I'm going to give him credit because, like I said, I think this opponent is Lanier, and even if it's not Lanier, I know it's somebody good because he's top 10 ladder on his other account, so maybe I should be a little more open-minded. But I believe that's HP Grass, and that probably means that Swampert can't threaten me, right? Because, like, if he's going HP Grass Hydro Pump, he clearly has quite a bit of investment to special attack, so he probably has Ice Beam too, and that just means that it's really unlikely that he has Roar. It's going to be last move Earthquake, Focus Punch, something like that. It's a weird set. If it were Hydro Pump, HP Grass, Ice Beam, Roar, I mean, it could be, but that just, I don't know. It feels weird to me. I'm not playing around it. So here comes the Bliss that I'm not surprised that he has. Like I said, looks like a Big 5 team. This is another reason that I think it is Lanier, because he very frequently runs Big 5 plus X, and X is often Metagross. So here comes the Bliss. I'm going to Calm Mind up. I don't feel threatened here. He's going to go for Sing, which is potentially bad for me. I did not play around that. So now if I don't wake up in time, he's just going to be able to Seismic Toss me down. So I'm going to have 3 different opportunities to wake up here. I mean, it's a shot, right? So that was the first one. Didn't get it. I've got this turn and then the next turn. And yeah, if I don't wake up, it's real bad. But luckily, I do wake up on time. That's going to get the rest off. And now that I know about the Sing, it's not going to be a problem. Because anytime I wake up, I can do one of 2 things. I can either wake up and rest, which avoids the Sing, or on the turn that I'm going to wake up, I can use Roar, which gives me negative priority. So the Blissey will actually wake up before me. Sing will blank because I'll still be asleep. Then I'll wake up and Roar. So I can use either those, Rest or Roar, to blank the Sing. So it's not going to be something the Coon has to worry about. Other Pokemon might, and especially when I'm down by a poke, obviously getting one of them shut off by stupid Sing is not what I have in mind. But the Coon itself is not going to have to worry about it. So on all these wake-up turns, especially at the end, it becomes just kind of a mind game of, like, is my opponent going to go to Skarm? Should I, instead of resting, just stay in and surf? Obviously, I lose my Coon if I'm wrong. If I stay in and surf and he just goes for S-Toss, then I'm going to feel like a complete idiot. But at the same time, I don't want to rest while he goes to Skarm, or whatever his phaser is, T-Tar, Swampert, whatever it is, because I'm just flat out losing the ability to take advantage of all these boosts that the Coon has, and he's just going to phase me out for free. So it's always a delicate balance. It's always a mind game back and forth, trying to figure out what your opponent's doing. Ultimately, the Coon is too valuable, so I don't want this to happen. I'm going to use one of the little tricks that I talked about there. So I'm going to use Roar to have negative priority, so he's going to Sing. I'm already asleep, so it does nothing. And then Roar is going to phase him out here. So that's going to prompt out Skarm, which no way in hell can survive a +2 Surf from the Coon. And I'm just going to go straight for the Surf to prevent him from going for spikes. And also because if I rest there, I don't want him to just phase me out. So we're not going to allow any of those things. He might not even have a phasing move because he's YOLO Skarm. But we're going to be safe. And we once again go for the rest to, again, play around the stupid Sing. And that's what's going to happen here. I rest, he sings. It gets blanked because I'm already asleep. And we are back to this matchup. So Seismic Tosses. These are costing him 2 a pop. He's got 32 to begin with, so effectively 16 uses of this should we play it out. I'm going to stay in, kill another sleep turn. There's a Seismic Toss, and once again, we are in this position. I do have a free turn here. I don't have to rest immediately if I don't want to, but the problem with like a play like Calm Mind, for example, is that I'm begging for him to use Sing, which is why, once again, either rest or roar is the better play. If I get cute and I Calm Mind there, that gives him a chance to Sing me, and that could be really, really bad because it puts me in that position again where if I don't wake up on time, I'm simply going to lose the Coon. So risk versus reward, it simply is not worth it. Rest happens, Coon goes S-Toss, kill a sleep turn here. Salamence comes in, that's the last poke previously unrevealed. I see here through the sand damage that he does have lefties, and now I know the set. He's going to go for Dragon Dance. Now, I don't know the full set. There's a couple different variations on Dragon Dance. A lot of them these days are running DD Brick Break, which I think is fine. I think is a good set. But it's not super relevant here because the best move that he's going to have to hit me with, regardless of the specifics of his set, is always just going to be HP Flying, which is what he has here. At +1, it's going to do only 37% because Coon is very bulky, and he's going to get roared out. He taunts me here. I'm going to outpredict him. I'm going to go straight for the Surf. He taunted there to prevent the rest. Now, granted, this does mean that when he follows up with something, I'm not going to be able to rest, so this Coon stuff is going to have to stop temporarily, and we'll pause at this point to kind of think about what to do. So nobody on this team, remember last poke lacked, nobody on this team has actual Ice Beam. Jirachi, we haven't shown it yet. We've shown Calm Mind, Thunderbolt, Wish, but the last move is actually Ice Punch, and my opponent does not know that. So that's actually going to be my best bet here, because remember, I'm still taunted for this coming turn. So even though I'm safe here, he can't kill me without a crit, I can't actually rest either. And I also can't roar him to prevent a Dragon Dance here. The only thing I can do with the Coon, if I stay in, is going to be Surf, which the Salamence is going to handle just fine, despite my boosts. So I'm more or less forced to switch here. The Lax could come in, but it really doesn't beat Salamence one-on-one unless I get an immediate Body Slam power or some kind of BS. So it really comes down to, do I want to just get an Intimidate off with my CB-Ments, or do I want to go to Rachi? And I think Rachi is the only really safe play here. It's EV to always live a +1 Earthquake from Salamence, so even if he Dragon Dances here, and I go to Rachi and then he Earthquakes me, pending a critical hit, I will always survive, and then I can counterattack with Ice Punch. And then maybe later I can heal the Rachi up with the Wish, but the main thing right now is not letting him sweep with the DD Ments. So I have to react to this immediately. I can't get too cute, and as such, the play for me is going to be to go to Rachi here. And by that I mean Salamence. I thought I went to Rachi. I might have gone Salamence and then Rachi. I think that's what happened here. So I went to my own Ments to get Intimidate off, and then immediately went to Rachi. I don't get cute and go for the Rock Slide here. So yeah, Rachi now. So I get Intimidate off and then Rachi. Now he Dragon Dances, so it's more or less the same position. He's at +1. He's super fast, but it doesn't matter. One dance would have made him faster than everything in mine anyway, but now with 2 dances, he's super duper fast. But the main point is that because of the Intimidate, he's at +1. My Jirachi is EV to always, always, always survive if he goes for it here, and I'll donk him back with Ice Punch. Now, because the Ment Sweep is very dangerous here, I cannot get cute. This is not a Wish turn. This is not a Calm Mind turn. Even if I think there's a possibility that he's going to switch, it's an obligatory Ice Punch because I might get swept if I get cute. So that's what we're going to do here. And in fact, my opponent does play around the Ice Punch, goes to Tyranitar. So there's the Ice Punch. I do not get the BS 20% freeze. We're going to check out what he's got. He doesn't have lefties. That makes me a little bit nervous. That makes me wonder if he's DD Lum. So, I don't really have a great switch for that, actually, because my Coon's at 39%, so, like, if I were to go to Coon here, and he were to Dragon Dance, that could be pretty poor. He could potentially sweep me here, so I have to kind of play with those things in mind, which is why I go to Wish, because last resort, I'm going to want to heal the Coon, but this actually turns out a lot better than I thought. I go for Wish, he goes Hidden Power, it bounces off, so he's actually, I think that's HP Grass, because, like, Bug would have been neutral, right? So not very effective Hidden Power. I think it's HP Grass. I think we're actually looking at a Special Tar here. So that makes me feel a lot better. So he might be like HP Grass, Fire Blast, Crunch Pursuit, or something along those lines. Or maybe he's got Ice Beam. But Special Tar is no threat to this Jirachi. And in fact, I can just Calm Mind up in his face. And this is where I really have my aha moment. Like, I knew that the Jirachi was going to be good in the matchup. I knew that many turns ago, but man, the Jirachi is fantastic in the matchup now that I look. The Blissey doesn't beat it. If the T-Tar is what I think it is, it doesn't beat it. I check and can one-hit KO the Salamence. The only thing is the Swampert, which is not the world's bulkiest Swampert since he's running Hydro Pump and HP Grass, so I can maybe even beat that guy up too. But I mean, I have other things to deal with Swampert. But I realize how valuable the Jirachi is now. The thing is so good in this matchup, and it's going to be the key if I am to achieve victory here. So I definitely need to keep the Jirachi healthy, and I'm going to play as such. So I Calm Mind here. I already have a Wish going, so Fire Blast misses, but it wouldn't have mattered there. The only thing that would have mattered is a crit or a burn, but otherwise the Wish would have simply negated the damage there. And he gets out of the way because the T-Tar is not going to beat this Jirachi. I don't even Wish again here. I just Calm Mind up. Bring it on. Now here, we know that the Bliss has Sing, so this is where it gets tricky. Now it's 4-4 now, so I'm not blatantly behind, so him singing something is not the end of the world the way that it was when I was fully down a poke. But nevertheless, Jirachi definitely is not the Pokemon that I want to get put to sleep. It's the most valuable Pokemon on my team in this matchup. It's not the guy that I want to drift off to La La Land. So I have to decide at this point what Pokemon do I want him to put to sleep. And that takes quite a bit of thinking of what do I want to go to here? What's my least valuable guy if it really comes to it? Certainly Rachi's not the guy that I want to get hit. And I decide that Snorlax is probably the least useful thing here. And he's going to go for Sing and miss, but he still could easily get it on the next turn. But I'm just going to Body Slam spam, see if I can get any pressure, see if I can find a para, and we'll go from there. So he goes to T-Tar. It's a special Tar. It's shown Fire Blast and HP Grass. I really don't feel that threatened here. What's he going to do? Crunch me? And as it turns out, I've got Earthquake. So I'm really not scared here. I'm just going to stay in. But as it turns out, he's actually the pretty uncommon mixed Tar. And usually when it is mixed, it's Brick Break. But the Rock Slide's actually the worst thing that he could have because he could randomly flinch me. Even if it were Brick Break, I can live 2 of those and just kill him without an issue. But with Rock Slide, it might get a little trickier because flinches come into play. Now, he doesn't get it on this turn, but he survives, and he could flinch me on this next turn. It could get a little bit tricky, but, I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't think I have a great switch here. If he doesn't have Ice Beam, I could go to Salamence, but, I mean, that's just begging to get hit with a Rock Slide, and it doesn't have lefties either. My Kun is still low at 39%, so, I mean, again, if I switch in and he just goes HP Grass, that's really bad. I really can't risk that either. I don't want to switch my Jirachi into a Fire Blast. So all things considered, I mean, yes, it would require prediction on his part, but I just don't feel overly comfortable with any switch in this situation. So I'm just going to ride it out with the Lax, and if he happens to crit me or whatever, or flinch me or whatever BS, I mean, that's just Pokemon. I'm just going to have to gamble here. So I go for Body Slam instead of Earthquake. That's absolutely the right play because if he were to switch, that gives me a chance to randomly paralyze something. And if you were to stay in Body Slam and Earthquake, it's all the same. They both kill. So with Earthquake, had he switched, I would not be able to paralyze something, and it would flat out miss had he gone to Salamence. Body Slam just covers all the bases, so that's the right play in that case. He goes to Swampert now, and I feel like the Lax is more or less on the way out. So like I said, he's a 3-attack rest set. So he's Body Slam, Shadow Ball, Earthquake, Rest. So I have a predicament here of do I go for Rest or do I just attack? And I think the play is actually just attack because if he's got Focus Punch or something like that, I'm just going to get punished anyway. It's obviously an offensive purge, so I mean he might have offensive Earthquake, he might have Focus Punch, he could also just set up on me with the DD-Ments. Basically, I think I lose too much tempo by trying to rest here. And I don't think the Lax is the key to victory either. I think it's just a utility mon in this matchup and on this team. So I think the play here is to just Body Slam and support my other guys. If I randomly get a para, great. But if not, I'll take the Swampert lower and make it that much easier for my CB-Ments, who's really threatening to what he has left, and potentially my Kun or my Rachi to finish off the Swampert. So I've got the lead now for the first time in the game at 4-3. So I'm going to try to push my advantage. We're going to go with Body Slam. He's going to Hydro Pump me. That's going to miss. I am A-okay with that. Body Slam, a big chunk, 38% back. It's doing so much because, again, it's an offensive purge, so it's not nearly as bulky as we're used to. Hydro Pump going to hit me in this case, 28%. That's a lot. Here's a Body Slam back, 37%. And a para is really, really good. So now I feel like I'm in a pretty decent position. And Body Slam going to finish him off. So only 2 pokes left. And Blissey obviously has no chance to kill me. So it's going to come down to not letting him sweep me with Salamence, which is still definitely a possibility. Because the only ice attack on my, or rock attack, there is no rock attack. Alright, speaking too fast. The only ice attack on the team is Jirachi. And then my own Salamence does have Rock Slide, yes. But I'm at 82%, and that's going to get ticked down by the sand every time. And then his own Salamence, we don't know the set, it could be a Brick Break variant, but his own Salamence very well may have Rock Slide. So my Mence is really not a solution unless we are fishing for misses, because otherwise he could just Dragon Dance, be faster than me, and then even with the Intimidate, his Rock Slide could kill my not at all bulky, no lefties Salamence. So, I mean, that's not exactly a reliable solution. So the key to this game is going to be not getting swept by the Salamence at this point. First thing to do is to figure out if my Lax has any more value. He's at 13%. He's going to be slower, obviously, than both the Blissey and the opposing Salamence, so I'm never going to outspeed. So the question is it valuable as fodder? Is there a move that I can make here that keeps me alive? Is he just going to Seismic Toss me here? It's hard to say, but I do have relatively safe switches into the Blissey, the Rachi being probably the best one, but I mean the problem with the Rachi is if I go to that and he just immediately sings me, that's really bad too. So Sing is going to be the biggest X factor in this late game. I'm going to have to play around that and not get the wrong thing sung at the wrong time, because that's his best path to victory. Shut off something, specifically the Rachi is the best thing he could shut off, and then set up the DD Mence sweep. So that's what I need to play around. So I decide to get out of the way. I decide if he's going to sing something, I would like it to be the Coon. He goes for the Seismic Toss, which is the obvious play because it would have killed the Snorlax. So this was a kind of a catch-all where if he sings, it's going to be something other than the Rachi. That's good. And if he goes for Seismic Toss, that's good too. So I'll walk you through both scenarios. So let's do the other one first. So had he gone for Sing here and shut off the Coon, my play would have been go to the Lax at that point, let it die, keep the Coon as sleep fodder, and then I would go to the Jirachi, which is essentially checkmate, because the Blissey can't beat it, the Blissey can't sing it, and the Salamence can't beat it either. So basically, the moment that I have something other than the Jirachi shut off with Sing, and then I get the Jirachi in, the game is over. So this play covers both ways. So what he did instead was go for Seismic Toss, trying to kill the Lax. That's also fine, because the Coon is going to live the Seismic Toss, and I'm now faster, and now I can get a rest off. So Coon here is absolutely the right play one way or another, and had he not gone for that there, let's say he had just gone to Salamence, it still works out, because in that case, the Coon would have just gone for Roar after he attacks, so whatever he does, I would live, get him out of the way, I'd be staring down the Blissey with my Coon, and I would just go for rest. So no matter what he did there, I was going to be okay, as long as I make this play. And I'm going to get the rest off now. So here's the Bliss, and we're back to this. Seismic Toss. It shows that she's got 21 of them, but she has way less, remember, because of pressure, and the overwhelming majority, if not all of them, have been at this Coon. Here is the Salamence, which is by far the most dangerous poke, and it's very tricky for me. I don't want to switch Rachi in now into an Earthquake if he goes for that, so I've got to play a little bit safe. The main thing I need to do is prevent him from going too far with Dragon Dance. So what I'm going to do, I haven't actually, or I guess I have shown Roar, but Roar is going to be the play here for sure, because I can't let him set up too much with Dragon Dance. One dance I can handle, because like I said, the Rachi's EV to live that, but I cannot handle more than one dance. The Rachi could die in that case, so I need to keep him from setting up too much. And as we know, as we discussed earlier, the Blissey is not a threat to the Coon, because I can just Roar and or rest when I'm about to wake up to avoid the Sing. And even if he does sing me, I've got the Rachi checkmate going on. So we are back to this, just trying to avoid the Salamence setup. Here it comes again, same as before. I kill a sleep turn. He's going to do the same thing as before. He's going to Dragon Dance up. I'm going to sleep once, and then he's going to have an opportunity to fish for a critical hit, which is what he needs. There's the DD. I'll kill the sleep turn. I'm going to go for Roar again, same loop as before. And like I said, he's just fishing for a crit. He doesn't have a lot of outs from here, but getting a crit would certainly be one of them. And there's Hidden Power. Crit does not come. Would have killed me if it did. And there's the Roar. So we're back to this. Here's Blissey again. At some point, I'm going to have to do something to break this, because what I'm doing, what's happening now is just giving him a million opportunities to find the crit, and that's not going to be a winning play, because if you give him a million opportunities, he will, in fact, eventually find it. So we're going to have to do something to break this. I anticipate that he's going to go to Salament, so I go straight for Roar. Same play for both of us again. He tries it again, and I'm just going to Roar it out again. Get rid of that. And we're back to this. And I believe this is my MVP play, where I make the soul read. Oh yeah! That, my friends, is checkmate. I am going to read that he's going to get that sing off on that exact turn, because I've been going for Roar, which is going to entice him into doing it. I've roared twice in a row, so it's going to give him incentive to go for the sing there and try to shut off the Coon. So he goes for the sing. I go to my Lax, which is fodder here. He sings it, and now he's dead. Now I just go to the Jirachi, and yeah, and he can't win. The Salamence and the Blissey both can't beat it. He's already seen Ice Punch. That's gonna be checkmate, and he realizes that as well and concedes. Cool beans, yo. Hey, I thought I played really well in that game. Yeah, I mean, that's why I brought it, because I want to make myself look good on YouTube for all 5 of my viewers, right? But yeah, I mean, that was the main thing. I think that was against Lanier, and even if it wasn't, it was against somebody that I know is a top 10 ladder guy on his other account, Lifa Test. And obviously you could tell that this dude plays real teams and knows what he's doing. I think it's Lanier. And yeah, I was very happy with the way that I played. I thought I played that end game well, and I moved around, and I made good decisions. I mean, yeah, I caught a couple breaks. My opponent did miss a Hydro Pump, for example. I feel like he missed something else as well. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a relatively clean, not super hacksy game, and I'm happy with how I played. You guys let me know in the comments. If you guys know the identity of this person, let me know. If you guys think I did not play well or should have done something differently, let me know that too. And also just give me a general impression of how much you like or dislike these ladder videos. I don't bring them too often. Sometimes I bring games of other people, but do you want to see more of me on ladder or not really? I have been laddering a ton recently. It's just a matter of, do you guys want to see the games? So let me know. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.